I think that we got a really good glimpse into, we might have talked about this a little bit, but I think we had a glimpse into how Donald Trump plans on being president during the debates when Hillary Clinton said, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And he says, hey, if you don't like it, you should have changed the law. Which means I think he knows the laws quite well, and he knows what he can get away with. But then that leads to this question. Are there... How great are the laws to rein in the corruption of the president of the United States? Or has it always just kind of been like tradition and we just assume whoever would be elected president is a fair and decent human? I use the analogy which a lot of people have used of Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
A peanut farm will have absolutely no chance of being any kind of conflict to a president of the United States. And yet he sold the peanut farm that he built with his own two hands.
Put it into a blind trust. Absolutely.
Put it into a blind trust. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so, what are the rules that will prohibit him from just openly cashing in on being president?
You'll actually be you might be surprised at this, that the sort of conflict of interest rules don't actually apply to the president.
That's what I was afraid of.
So
that's what I was afraid of.
He doesn't have to divest his companies. He doesn't technically have to do it, but also in the past you haven't had presidents who would be in violation of the foreign bribery clause, right? So there's the difference between ethics rules and the Constitution and criminal law. And so the one issue, yes, if he has interests, he has debt to Wells Fargo, a bank that is in the crosshairs of U.S. regulators that he'll appoint as president. That is very bad, but it's not. He doesn't have to divest that money. The issue, the stuff that he does have to deal with is that the so-called emoluments clause, it's called the emoluments clause. I like to call it the foreign bribery clause because he has interest in all of these countries and they are tied to foreign governments. And as soon as he gets any money from a foreign entity, he is in violation of that. And then there's the GSA contract with he owns the
that's exactly where I was going.
The hotel with the fancy cocktails.
That's exactly where I was going.
His name is on that lease. Yeah. He owns it. There's a violation of a GSA lease for a government employee to own a government building.
How is he going to get around that? Like, I do think at the end of the day he's probably going to find a way around it because he's a worm and that's what worms do.
Well, he has a very creative lawyer whose history is
creative is a nice way to put it.
Whose history is exploiting the weakness in our laws, campaign finance laws particularly. I mean, I guess if they move the contract to Ivanka and take it out of his name, that is one way around it. Yeah. But they haven't made it clear that they plan to do that.
It's like they're going to defeat just like a rat king, right? Yeah. Like if it's not like one person, he'll pass it off to the next or the next or the next, and he'll just keep skirting.
That. The thing is,
but that's sort of that's what I was saying about like he knows these laws, like he knows exactly what he can get away with, and he has his kids in his pocket.
Yeah. The one thing I feel more optimistic about is that graft and corruption are very easily understood. There's a reason Hillary Clinton looked like she was corrupt because the State Department met with people who gave money to the foundation. That is easy to look at whether it actually is corruption or not. And I do think that when you have these questions, there's going to be, unless he divests, unless he sells it all, there's going to be this cloud of question over the entire administration. And I do think Americans will start. I mean, he did lose the popular vote. He has very low approval ratings. And I think you will see when you start seeing these corruption stories, these like, did he not? And then I think you'll see lawsuits and all sorts of stuff. I think that will have a toll on him.